Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at some more string methods. So if you remember a long time ago, this is probably in the last class, I gave you a copy of a Java program called stringmethods.java, and it looks something like this. It's a big hodgepodge, like it really is. But way back when we first learned about strings, that's where this file came from. If you can't find it, you can re-download it from right there on the page. But we know all the ones up here up top, these what I call basic string methods, we've already looked at. You know them by heart by now. Dot length, dot to uppercase, lowercase, char at, we've used a ton of, equals, obviously, compare to, and then we've probably randomly practiced some substring. Index of is one we sometimes forget about and whatnot. But I want to look at some advanced string methods that we have here. So first of all, these are not all tested on the AP exam. I can tell you for sure that substring, index of, contains, and I'm pretty sure that's about it. So not all of these are going to be tested. These simple ones on the right-hand side definitely need to know. Those are all tested. So dot length, uppercase, but those are all easy, and you should know those by now. Compare to might be one that you need to revisit because we don't use it a lot. But like I said, substring, index of, contains, and that's about it that's going to be tested on the AP exam. But the others are really good to know for other things. So good to know for the Java certification exam, good to know if you do any kind of competition with us, they're really good to know. And so let's break them down and look at how these work. Let me go ahead and hit play here. So if you hit play on this program, I've got it separated in the output. So up top is basic strings, scroll down. Now we've got the advanced strings and all of their outputs. So we'll just roll through these one at a time. Last index of, this returns the index of the last occurrence of a single character or a string. So you could put a char in here. So what you do is you put your string, dot last index of, and then you put what you're looking for here. And so that'll take in a single string character, or it can take in a full long, whatever you want, type string, and it'll return wherever it starts, the last place that it starts. So index of looks at the beginning. Last index of is going to look at the last place that it shows up. Dot contains, this should be up at the top, but dot contains checks to see if a string contains another string. So you could check for a single character, or you could look for an entire word, and it'll see if it's there. It won't tell you how many times it's there. It's just going to return true or false if it shows up at all. Starts with just what it says, and ends with just like what you think it does. It checks to see if that string starts with that word or phrase or ends with that word or phrase. Dot replace. This is one I bet you thought, really wish you knew a long time ago. Dot replace replaces all the occurrences of one character with another character in a string. So, so here we have our string. We do dot replace all the L's with R's. So let's go in here and actually look at this one. Right here. Right there is going to be that output. Hello world with R's instead of L's would say hello world. So that's really weird. I'm a funny guy. So toChar array comes in handy. We'll actually use this one in class. So this one's good to know. Let's slow down and look at this one. This is going to take str1, which is up at the top. If you didn't notice, I have these three strings here at the top that we're using. So str1 is just hello world. So let's go back down. So what toChar array does is just what the name says. It's going to take that string and it's going to put everything that's in it into a character array by each character that's in it. So here we have str1, 2 char array. Let's see, where did I print this? Oh, right here next. So it puts it in the char array. So you got to set it up just like normal. We have an array of chars called ch. Set it equal to that string dot to char array. It'll take everything in the string, throw it in that character array, and then here I'm printing it out. So if you all this, I like that I did that. So the string class has a dot value of ch. If you throw that in there, it prints it out. I didn't know. Oh man, I didn't know I did that. So apparently you can do that. The value of method, string method, is apparently static, and if you give it an array, it prints it out. That's fancy. Even I forgot I did that. So this is printing out each character in that array. So I know it looks like one solid string, but it's not. It's each individual entry into that array. Okay, trim. So now we're going to get into some good stuff that's really going to come in handy, and we're going to be using quite a bit, especially in competition. Dot trim trims off any extra white space that you have off of a string. This is really good when you're taking in user input and not user input, file input, and the file may have, each line might have some extra white space that you don't want. So here I have a string that has some extra white space in the beginning and the end. And the way it works is you take, right here is where we're using it. We're going to take str4, which is this with the extra space, do dot trim on the end of it. And then when you print it back out, so here the untrimmed string looks like this, with all this extra space, and then using dot trim trims all that extra white space off of the string. So definitely comes in handy, especially when you're taking in file input that may have some extra white space and you're maybe putting it into an array. You want to trim all that off. You just tag that dot trim on to your input line where you're taking the input. So input dot next line dot trim, and it'll trim that that white space off. So good one to know. Okay, tokenizing. This is some fancy stuff that is really simple and shows up quite a bit in the competitive stuff that we do. So we have this method called dot split. And the way it works is it's a string method, and it will split off a string based on what's called a delimiter or a token is what the book may call it. So it'll split off that string based on whatever you tell it to split off from. Let me give you an example. So if I have this string, I know it's a really weird one. It says 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If I do str5 dot split, and what it's going to do is everywhere it finds this word, that's what they call the delimiter or the token. So actually, no, I'm wrong. That's the delimiter. And so everywhere it finds this delimiter, it's going to create a token. So the token is going to be the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4. Let me show you what I mean. So down here, I have my original string, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If I do str5 dot split, and it's going to split each of those characters off every time that it finds the word and. So as soon as it finds this word and, it's going to split this one off as what it's going to call a token. It's going to grab that one, and it's going to put it in an array, inside a string array. That's how it works. So you can take any string, do dot split, and then inside those quotes, put whatever it is you want to split it by, and it will split it off and throw it into a string array. The word and I just use that for effect, but typically, a lot of times we see this with commas. If we have a file input where everything's separated by commas or spaces, or whatever, you can split all of those items off and throw them right into an array by only doing one line of code. Take input dot next line dot split, and then put whatever, you can put a comma in there and split them off by that. So if there's commas here, crud. So I can do this right here, and you can see it split those off as well. So started off with commas, and then it split them off, and this is printing that is printing the array out. So that's actually an array. That's not like a general string. Okay. Okay. What if, and the rest of this is just me printing the array out. What if we had more than one delimiter that we wanted to use? So I've got this string here that's got 1 comma 2 period 3 space 4, and I want to split off all those numbers. You can use this method. This is called regex, which stands for regular expression. We're not going to get too much into that. All I want you to know is this is the format we're going to use. So if you want to split something off by more than one delimiter, you're going to add in some brackets to the front and back, and then in between the brackets, you're going to put what you want to split it off by, all the different things. So you could essentially put in here every type of punctuation, and it would split everything off whenever it finds that punctuation. So here, I want to split off, I've got a comma, a period, and a space. I can throw all 3 of those inside those brackets, and it will split off those tokens every time it finds a comma, a period, or a space. So it's very handy. One thing I do want to add to this, let me zoom in a little, is what if you had a comma, a period, and a space at the same time? What's gonna happen? So let's see what happens. It doesn't work quite as intended. So this is looking for individual delimiters, an individual comma, period, space. So as soon as it hits that first delimiter, comma, it splits that 5, or it splits everything after it off. So if you notice, I have a lot of space in here. So what it's essentially doing is it's grabbing that space and giving it its own spot inside the array, and we don't really want that. We wanted it to completely forget, ignore that whole string here of that comma, period, space. So if you want it to include comma, periods, spaces, and a combination of any of the 3, this is kind of weird, but you add a plus sign right there to the end. Hit play. Now you'll see it worked exactly as intended. So what the plus sign does is, so in here we have, hey, it's going to split off by commas. It's going to split off by periods and spaces. The plus tells it to split those tokens off based off any combination of those 3 delimiters. So it found all 3 together here and split it off together and gave me that 1 token of that 5. So just to reiterate, these are called delimiters, but what it splits off, so the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are called the tokens. So if you ever hear those words thrown around, that's the difference between those.